You can have a seat. You can have a seat. Good morning. Let's try that again. Good morning. There you go. Now you're all awake. Not that you shouldn't already be with that amazing singing this morning. I love it. Jerry has bragged on him, and well, Jerry's right. Hey, this morning in communion time, one of the people of faith that really affected me was Jerry Williamson, and I appreciate him giving me the opportunity to come and speak with you this morning and be with you this morning. I was a 21-year-old, honestly, kid, is the best way I could put it, taking a job at Christian Academy as a teacher there, and man, I was young. Man, I was dumb. And maybe some of you 21-year-olds are not dumb, but I was. And very, very inexperienced and just silly. And so a couple of years there, I went into youth ministry, and one of the first people I met in that was Jerry Williamson. And you guys have met Jerry. The first thing you get is a hug. And the next thing you get is his undivided attention. And he wants to hear about you, and he wants to hear how you're doing. Love that guy. But over the next 8 or 9 years, we would take trips together, we would work together in ministry, and what he did for me was help develop my theology. I became the Christian man that I am today partly because of Jerry Williamson. Guys like Steve Autry were also a part of it. Several other youth ministers were part of that process. But we would go on, I remember we would go to York College to do some kind of lectures for their students, and that meant 8 hours in a van, 9 hours in a van. And you know, with teenagers, you put them in a van together for 8 or 9 hours, they're going to be united, they're going to have lots of conversations, they're probably going to come up with some stupid games. Youth ministers really are not that different. So among all of the silly games and the conversations, it helped develop who I am today. So I really, really am thankful for Jerry. I appreciate him giving me the chance to be here. Let's go ahead and change the slide real quick, because that's just, we don't want that. There we go, that's much better. Wow. So, some 49-year-old guy, yes, I'm not that 21-year-old anymore, is going to tell you about the meaning of life. Well, here's the beauty of it, is I'm not going to do it, because I cannot give you the true meaning of life. I'm going to Scripture, of course. I'm going to give you my favorite section of Scripture, which most of you would say, are you insane? How can that be your favorite? But it is. So this morning we are going to camp out in Ecclesiastes. What? Yes, Ecclesiastes. Now, if you were in Mike's class this morning, you were blessed. In fact, between Sandy, I told her this morning, between Mike's class, right about the end of it, I said, okay, I think I can just go into the auditorium, take the recording of Mike's class, and just say, amen, let's go home. And we'd probably be good. And then Brian presented pretty much what I'm going to give you today. He talked about the meaning of life and the beauty of it. So you guys have got this covered. We're good. All right, good. Let's get out of here. All ready for lunch? We're going to Ecclesiastes, though. Now, to start with, I'm going to give you a great lesson before we ever actually get into the lesson. Yes, I'm going to be that guy this morning. And here it is. Who wrote Ecclesiastes? Yeah, that's what you think. We don't know. There's a lot of debate, and you can read from lots and lots of different scholars as they try to come up with who is the person in Ecclesiastes. I am one of those that do believe that Solomon wrote it. You know, that whole reference to one of the sons of David, something about having lots of wisdom. But here's what's going to make things challenging for you. There are a few verses in there that I want to really kind of dig into a little bit, and that is this. How did Solomon get his wisdom? He's talking to God one day, and he says, God, grant me, I want these wishes, or I want this one wish. And God says, hey, here you go, one thing, anything you want. And he says, give me wisdom. Now, some of you probably are in this camp. I want wisdom. God said, poof, you now have wisdom. You are brilliant. You are the man. Is that how you think it went? It's okay. It's okay if you do. I don't. Now, here's the crazy thing. You can believe that he did, and I can believe that he didn't. And guess what? We just worshiped together this morning. It's perfectly fine. Nobody had to run out the back door saying, oh, you're just wrong. Kind of fits with Mike's class this morning. It is okay that we don't agree on every single element of Scripture. And here's where it is. Ecclesiastes 1:16 says this, I have increased in wisdom more than anyone who has ruled. Well, how do you increase in wisdom if God already gave you all of it? No need to really increase. You've got it. You've got it covered. There's more. Try this one. 17, where are we at? Verse 17. I applied myself to the understanding of wisdom. I'm sorry, if God grants it to you, poof, you don't really need to apply yourself to anything. You've got it. I apply myself and I increase because I spend time trying to become wiser. You spend more time in the Word, you're going to understand the Word a little more. You spend more time at work, you're going to understand work a little more. You spend time in whatever you're going to do, that's how you increase in it. And so my thought is that Solomon had to go through a lot of the things that we go through. One of the other reasons, how many wives and concubines did he have? Yeah, that doesn't sound like wisdom to me. To you? Anyone? Anyone think that's a wise move? Yeah, I don't know about that one. Not only that, they end up being the downfall of him. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this. This morning, we're going to talk about this meaning of life and what it is. And I think probably it's this. You're going to struggle with a Hebrew translation. I told you I love the Old Testament. I also love the Hebrew language. A lot. I study it and study it and study it because the more I dig into the Hebrew language, the more I realize how much I really don't know about the Bible. And here's one of those cases. So you're going to rely on your translation, and it's going to start in verse 2, and it's going to say two words to you. It's going to say, give me one of them. Meaningless, meaningless. That's one translation. There's probably another one. Somebody have something different? What? Vanities, vanities. So we start out right out of the gate saying this whole book is meaningless or vain. Well, here's the problem. It's that Hebrew to English translation. We cannot start out with the word meaningless. If you start out with the word meaningless in English, you automatically go, this is pointless. And so you've read Ecclesiastes and probably thought that Solomon, or whoever the author is telling you that life is pointless. And that's a major flaw, because that is not what he's telling you at all. The Hebrew word, and you're going to help me with this one because it's kind of fun. We got to get right back here to get it. Hevel. Go ahead, try it. It's kind of fun. Hevel. Come on, try it. Hevel. There you go. You can't do it wrong as long as there's a lot of phlegm in the back there. Hevel. That's what you want. That's Hebrew. Another reason I like it, it's called a guttural language. What a great word for that, right? Guttural. Yeah, that sounds very guttural. What a beautiful language. Hevel. What hevel actually means is vapor or smoke. So let's start with that. We start out with this idea of vapor, vapor. Smoke, smoke. Everything is smoke. That's where we need to start. Now you're going to get the idea of Ecclesiastes. From there, we can build. Because what Solomon, I'll back up. What the author is seeking to do here is to point out several elements in life that we all seem to get attached to. One of the first is our job. All right. So, Steve Holloway, if I were just meeting you, I'd probably walk up and I'd say, hey, Steve, or, well, hello, because I don't know your name. I just met you. And I'd say, who are you? Probably one of the first things you'd tell me is your name. The next thing you would tell me, where you work. It is the identifying mark for us. It is who we are. It's our job. Do you really want to be identified by your job? That place that you're like, can't wait until Friday gets here, that's what you identify with? What a silly thing for us to identify with. Yet we all do it. Across the board, who are you? You'd identify with your job. That is who you are. No, that is not who you are. Who you are might be the spouse of this great husband-wife, a parent of these great kids, the grandparent of all these great grandkids. It might be a follower of Jesus Christ. There's a lot of things we could come up with, but why do we always give it to the job? Why? Because we're stuck to it, and the author understood this. He gets it completely and totally, and he says this: I built houses, vineyards, gardens, parks, reservoirs. Everything I had achieved building-wise and creating was hevel, was smoke. I tried to be great at my job, and guess what? It didn't give me any meaning. It was smoke. I just kept reaching, trying to be the very best, rise to the top of the ladder. My parents worked in O'Fallon, Missouri. They took care of all of O'Fallon's finest. My mother If you were to call in because your trash didn't get picked up, that's who you would talk to. My mom. She handled the trash side of things. My dad worked for the sewer department. We took care of O'Fallon's finest. Something, yes, I take a lot of pride in my parents. Dad used to say he'd get to about he knew he was about 4 years from retirement, and he would say, I'd say, hey, how's work going? He's like, it's okay, but things are different now. I was like, why? He said, well, I used to work on this pump, and I'd make sure it worked really, really well. Now I only need it to last 4 years, and then I'm out of here. And then when we got to year 3, same thing, year 2, same thing. He's like, hey, it's great. I only have to make this thing last 1 year, and then it's somebody else's problem. And that is exactly what the author says here. All those things you work so hard for, you're laboring for, guess what? You're going to give it to somebody else who probably doesn't care as much about it as you do. You guys, I know some of you older people, you complain about the young people. I've heard it. They don't care like we used to. They don't work like we used to. They don't do anything like we used to. That's who you're giving it to. All of that work you thought was important. You missed your kids' games. You missed your kids' plays. You missed stuff with your wife because you had to get to work so you could eventually give it to that young whippersnapper who doesn't care anyway. Brilliant. Sound like we're all needing to be a little bit more like Solomon and learn a little lesson here? Your job doesn't matter. Who cares? What is your job for? And he's going to get there at the end. So before we do that, let's try the next thing. My family loves to travel. I mean, if you follow us on Facebook, you're like, Nate, you're never home. And I live at Camp Nietes. Of all the places you might want to stay home, that's it. Not only that, I own a camper. I live on 225 acres in the woods. I live at a camper. Why would I need to go anywhere else? Why? Because I love to see the world. I love to see this country. I like to go to new places, hike to new spots. I like to be at the beach sometimes. We like to just go, flat out. And we will take weeks at a time, 2 weeks at a time, anytime we can. In fact, next weekend, we're gone. We're going over to Indiana because there's some place that's supposed to allow you to kayak underground with a clear bottom boat and lights and all of it. We're like, yeah, let's try it. Sure, it's like 4 or 5 hours away. Give it a go. Yeah. Why? That's who we are. Lots and lots of pleasure. We enjoy it, so we're going to go do it, right? But you know what? There are people that's how they live their life. Everything that feels good, I'm going to do that. Well, you all know about celebrities. We talked about some this morning in communion. Old Elvis figured out that if he just followed pleasure, it's going to end great, right? Not really. Frank Sinatra figured out if he follows pleasure, yeah, it didn't turn out great. In fact, most of the time when you read things about celebrities, they talk about that exact thing. You think my life is awesome and great, and you see it from a distance, but it's really not that great. I don't really see any meaning in my life, purpose in my life, because all I'm doing is just whatever feels good at the time. But guess what? It might feel good at the time, but eventually it fades. I love chocolate chip cookies. Actually, I need to be a little more clear. I love cookie dough. And the beautiful thing at camp is they make cookies every week. And so we get this big case of cookie dough. And I will swing through the kitchen, and most of the cooks already know. They just have one sitting out for me. And there we go. I walk by and I get my cookie dough, and I keep on going. I get back to work. You know what? One cookie dough is great. The second cookie dough sometimes is great. But if I get to the third one, no thanks. I'm done. I don't need any more cookie dough. I appreciate that. All pleasure works this same way. I remember in economics class, I think it's called the law of diminishing return. Those of you that want to get a little more scholarly. Yeah, that the more you have of it, the less you like it. There comes a point when it's just like, this is too much. And that's why they have those food challenges where you got to eat the massive burger, or you have to drink the massive shakes, because you can only go so far with those before you find like, okay, enough. I can't take anymore. It's too sweet. It's too salty. It's too whatever. Too much of a good thing becomes a bad thing. You can't find your meaning and your purpose just in pleasure. So let's try option number 3. And what a fitting one. If we're going to give this thing to Solomon, the third one, wisdom. I just want to learn. Now, I'm going to fall into this one. This is humble brag time. This June, I'm starting my doctorate. Why? I'm insane. I call it glutton for punishment. But what it is, I'm kind of one of those ministers, and Mike, you might understand this, where you preach and you teach and you do all these things, but when do you get fed? Yeah, so that's kind of what the doctorate is for me. I want to be fed. I really enjoyed the master's work. I enjoyed learning from a bunch of scholars that taught me new things, messed with my mind, twisted my way of thinking. Why? Because my theology is always changing. Remember, I learned from Jerry, so I had to go to graduate school so I can get rid of all that junk and learn something better. So I'm going to try this doctorate. And already the work I'm looking at going, do I really want to do this? And then I think, yeah, it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to learn some more and learn something different. And that's why I really dived into Hebrew. It's something I fell in love with, and it was like, you know what, let's keep going on this. Let's learn some more and more and more. And even with wisdom, that's the conclusion that is reached. How much are you going to learn before it's enough? Before you're done? And the author has some things to say about this that I really like. Chapter 7, verse 11. Wisdom is a good thing. I think most of the book of Proverbs is around this idea that wisdom is a good thing. In all my wisdom, this is what I found. God has created mankind upright, but we have gone in search of schemes. 8:17. No one can comprehend what goes on under the sun. No one can understand all that God has done. So you're seeking wisdom? Guess what? You already know what the point is. There comes a point when you're not going to understand it. Talk to any scientist out there, they hit a point where they're like, I can't explain that one. Most of the time it's things like faith, something supernatural that just is kind of outside of their realm. They have certain limitations in their understanding system. But there still is a line. 2:12 through 16. Wisdom is better than folly, but in the end, both have the same point. Hevel. You can strive for more and more knowledge, but guess what? You're not going to find meaning in it. It's not going to give your life purpose. It's not going to give you what you're hoping to gain, because there still is a point when you don't know it. And guess what? And this is one of the things the author writes. You know that idiot sitting next to you? Okay, wait. You're sitting next to your spouse. 3 rows over, 1 row up. Yeah, that one. That person might not be as smart as you. Guess what? You both end the same. Oh, that's just not even right. You mean I didn't win the championship? Sorry, Golden State. I didn't win the championship because I knew more than you? No. Guess what? You're both going to die. You're both going to end up someday standing before our Savior and saying, hey, here's what I did. What's crazy is the idiot that's sitting over there might end up a little better than you. Why? Because you were so busy trying to seek wisdom that you forgot some things. You were so busy trying to seek pleasure that you forgot some things. You're so busy in your job, you forgot some things. You missed the point. So what is the point? And he does give us that. What should we do? First of all, 2:24, eat, drink, find satisfaction in all that God has given you. He does tell you, hey, this life is pretty cool. Enjoy it to a point. But enjoy it. There's nothing wrong getting done here today and going out and enjoying lunch with your family. That's exactly what you should do. My kids are now in their 20s, which means we are empty nesting. Steve, we love it. But yes, there's going to come a point when I miss my daughter a little bit. She's off at college. I don't see her. That kind of stinks. Looking forward to this summer because she's coming back and going to stay the whole summer. Last summer, she went to Greece because she's just like her parents. Travel. So I'm going to enjoy that time. Why? Because I know she's going to get a job. She's going to move on. In fact, she's already talked like she wants to live in Savannah, Georgia. That's 12 hours away. How am I supposed to go see that kid? Yeah, you're right. Jump in the camper and go see her. Enjoy life. When times are good, be happy. When they are bad, consider that God has made one as well as the other. Yes, you are going to face them both, and I'm getting to that here soon. And really, I'm not. The author is. So good and bad are both going to happen. Life is not fair. You've all said it to your kids. I know you have, because they've complained about something, and that was your reply. It came shortly after the one where you tried because I said so. And you realize that one didn't work, so we're going to go with life's not fair. Well, guess what, adults? I'm giving it to you. Life is not fair. Why did I get cancer? Life's not fair. Why did my friend have to go through this pain? Because life is not fair. I really struggle with those that give all the pain and the suffering to God. Because obviously the author here has told us specifically, it's going to happen. And it happens by chance. This is not one of those things where God says, you, shame on you. You, shame on you. You, yeah, and that's where I'm going to give it. I don't know if Jerry got to it, but one of the things I love about Passover is the word itself. Avar is Passover. But there is another word that works in there and a translation that works even better, and it's called cover over. Did he talk about cover over? Oh, Jerry, you missed a gold what? Yes, I love cover over. Why? Because it helps me understand God in a much better light. God is not the one going through saying, you die, you die, you die, you die. God is saying, I'm covering you, I'm covering you, I'm covering you. And the death is still going to happen no matter what. But I'm going to take care of those of you that followed and agreed to this covenant, this agreement where you put the blood on the door. And God said, I will protect, and I will protect, and I will protect. What does that do to my prayer life? Now I'm no longer praying, Lord, take this away, but Lord, cover me. And it might still happen, but God, I'm asking you, cover me. And this is why, and this is I teach, I've been blessed with the chance to teach online to undergraduate. I teach Old Testament, and I love it. But the problem with most people with the Old Testament is they think the God of the Old Testament is different than the God in the New. Why? Because they read passages like the Passover and think God is just smiting people left and right. No, God is protecting people left and right. Because God is slow to anger, abounding in love, and when he does finally smite, it's finally reached that point where it's like, yeah, we probably deserve that one. If you really look at the Old Testament, I think that's what you're going to find. Time and chance in chapter 9, verse 11, my favorite verse, time and chance happen to us all. I live by that one because it helps me go through this process. Like, yeah, that can happen to me. It also helps me prepare for those weird and bad things. I don't know about you, but I've already planned for the fact that my wife is going to die. Have you? We get to that point, it's like, I see people all the time at funerals and they're just like, they're shocked. And they're just like, how could this happen? Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, we are all going to die. What an uplifting message this morning. Don't let Nate ever come back again, Jerry. But does that not change everything for you? Not only that, my mom just texted me the other day. I was able to preach up at Fairgrounds Road up in Troy for her church a couple times. Met a wonderful couple there. One of the gentlemen just passed away, and she sent me that text. And I thought, I know where he is. I know exactly where he is. I have no problem with him dying. Am I supposed to go there and cry and be sad? By the way, my funeral, just so you're aware, you are invited. It will have a bounce house. Hopefully it will be a roast because my life has been a lot of funny jokes and it's not been one of sadness, so we're not going to go there and be all sad and cry and all that business. We're going to go there and we're going to tell jokes about all the silly things that Nate did. So if you have any of those, please come, plan on coming up to the mic, tell everybody the silly thing I did, the silly thing I said, and we're going to have some fun. Well, you guys maybe will have some fun. I'm already having fun. Right? Because I know where I am. And I got the prize. It's such an odd thing. You're going to get sad because I just won the prize. I don't see anybody watching the Golden State Warriors win their championship and crying about it. Man, oh my, except for the ones who lost. All right. Oh yeah. Be content. Be content. I think it might be hard for some of us. This is what you have. Okay, yeah, great. I know, everybody asks me, Nate, how are you? My response, always good. I am always good. If you hear me complain, just kick me. Why? I live at Camp Nietes. I mean, come on. It is like the greatest place on earth. Trust me, Disney is not it, that is. Camp is the greatest place. I love it there. I live in the woods. People leave me alone. I know, you guys are gonna get jealous soon. I live in a log cabin. I'm that guy that's the meme. Would you live in this cabin for $1,000? Yeah, I'm that guy. Now, the house is small. I don't need a big house. I gotta work on the camp each day. That's okay. I like what I do. Some days I have to do plumbing. Hate plumbing. That's okay. I'm content. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is where I am placed. And I'm gonna be content with what he's given me. If everything God's given me, going back to the first one, eat, drink, be merry, enjoy your family. But be content with what you have. Oh yeah, you are going out just like you came in. I remember Dad used to always tease that one. I think it was Bill Cosby. I know you can't say that name anymore, I'm sorry, but he was a good comedian before he became weird. What was it Dad used to say? You better shape up because I brought you into this world and I can take you out, right? And make another one that looks just like you, right. Yeah, Dad he lived on that one. And I thought, you know what? Go for it. Come on, we were all teenagers at one point. You know that had to come out at some point. We all go out just like we came in. You're going to go out with nothing. So what are you trying to store up? What are you trying to save up? What are you trying to keep? What are you trying to put in the casket with you? You know better than that. We are not the Egyptian mummies that we've got to put all the wealth in there with us, think we're going to take it into the next life was their idea. We know better than that. So what is this life for? Is ultimately the question we're asking, and we're going to get there next. What is the point? And he tells us at the end of it. And Brian told us before I ever got up here. Little bit different because, again, we haven't had Jesus yet. By this point, the author says, fear God. Now, yareh, the Hebrew word, fear. I want to help you with that because I think fear for us is a difficult word for us as well. And I don't think yareh translates well to fear. Because when you hear fear, what do you hear? What do you think? Scared. Duh. Okay, there's a little bit of that. But maybe we can find a better word that includes a little bit of it's not really scared, but maybe awe, maybe respect, maybe honor. Honor. And again, the older generation knows the word honor very well. It was automatically we honored. And what did honor entail? Submitting to that other person. Doing anything for that other person. That was honor. So I really think that is a proper word in the English language for us to understand what is being said here. Honor God. With all that you have, honor God and keep his commandments. What is the meaning of life? That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I love my life. I hope you love yours. I hope you love being a Christian, a follower of Christ, and that it's not this burden. It's not like this thing you have to do, but it's just, it's who you are. Jerry's been talking about being the light. Well, guess what? When you get to the point where it is just who you are, everything about you is Christ. Everything about you is God. Everything about you is your belief, then there is no doubt you are going to be light. Because it's just who you are. I preached this at O'Fallon one time. And one of the elders came to me, a very good friend of mine, Grant Niffen. He came to me and he said, Nate, that sermon was completely you. I said, what do you mean? He's like, it's the no worries, life is good, enjoy, it's just chill. You are a type B personality. What about us type A's? And I said, Grant, maybe it's a little harder for you, but this isn't me. This is who you also are. When it just permeates everything about you, it's going to glow. So then you don't have to put on a show. You don't have to be something you're not. You don't have to be one way on Sunday and a different during the week. It's just who you are. Because you fear God, you keep his commandments. It is so ingrained inside of you that no matter the circumstance, that's how you're going to act. Talking in class this morning, Mike, we talked about what we watch and things that we do. Those are all decided for us. Why? Because that's who we are. I see it? No, that's not for me. I hear it? No, that's not for me. Every fiber of our being becomes him. And that's the point we need to get to. This can be done. It doesn't take a lot. It just takes letting go of some things, because I think that's our issue. We've held on to some things that are just wrong, and that's what the author's trying to correct. Don't hold on to that job. Don't hold on to pleasure. Don't hold on to wisdom. Whatever that thing that you're holding on to, just let it go. Let God become the one and the only, and you've got it. Let's go ahead and pray together, and we will stand and sing. Father, I thank you this morning. I thank you for this group. I pray that you were glorified. I pray that they were blessed by you. And Father, I pray that you help us, because right now we need you. We need you to help us to let some things go. We need you to help us just change and reprioritize our lives. Father, you've given us clear meaning in our life, clear direction. And it's so simple to follow, Lord. I just pray that you help us through this process. We trust you. We thank you for your son. We thank you for that example of somebody who came and lived life where it's completely and totally directed towards you. Father, I pray that we can follow that path. In all things, we pray this in his name. Amen.